Okay. Assalamu alaikum and greetings, everyone. Positive Impact is here today with another bite-sized session. This is our second session with pharmaceutical industry. And the reason for choosing this industry is because of its resilience. Despite having such a surge in demand and having much more bigger expectations also to save many lives, this was one of the industry that kept going despite all these pressures. So it's really important that we explore what were the models they have adapted during this difficult time that kept them going. What was the promptness? What was the readiness of pharmaceutical industry? What are the adaptability models we can look into that can be beneficial for others? So here I am today and with Dr. Kaiser Waheed, who's known as one of the key strategist, key thinker, visionary, and quite a renowned leader. So welcome, Dr. Kaiser. He's a
Thank you.
president and CEO of a very successful business, pharmaceutical business called Medicare Pharmaceuticals. He is also an active member for PPMA, and he is an advisor for Chamber of Commerce Committee on Health. So for me, I'm absolutely honored to have him here today. I know him from a very long time now. And he's one of the person who always supported the vision and mission of positive impact and actually absolutely encouraged us to think beyond training and development and look into what we can do to evolve the industry onto the global forums. So he will be sharing his insight on how to stay productive while carving into a new normal and shaping not only COVID safe, but pragmatically resilient industry. So, sir, Assalamu alaikum. We would like to
Walaikum
start
assalam.
with sharing your journey. So, give us some insights about yourself and your journey.
Okay, I mean, it's a long story. I've started my career as a medical representative way back about more than 40 years, 4 decades ago, with a multinational company. At that point in time, majority of them are multinational companies were available in Pakistan. Maybe very few, maybe. There are Pakistani companies, but not on the brand side. They were on generic side. So I started career as a medical rep and worked through the various lines as a medical rep, as a trainer, as a management uh, kind of a thing. And finally decided to move on to my own business. And way back in 1991, I've started, promoting products from Korea and from Malaysia. I was the first person. Medishore company at that time was called Medishore Pharma International. Was basically a marketing company. We were not manufacturing, so we were importing product from Korea and various other countries. And we were first success was that we brought into a typhoid test called Typhoid from Malaysia, which was a Malaysian university product, and that was a conclusive test. Before that, there was a one test called Vidal, which was inconclusive test for typhoid fever. So that's the journey started, and then Medishore endeavor into various other therapeutic arenas. We brought into we introduced first time prefilled syringe concept in Pakistan and so management treatment for paraplegia and hemiplegia. And then a couple of years after working with my company as a proprietor as a Medicare Pharma International, then move on to the manufacturing side and built a factory. And people make very tall claim, very large and big vision and statement and objective. I think my company name is Medishore, mean medical surety. We call for the health of humanity. That's our
Yeah.
slogan. The medical surety, four corner of the world. So that's was our belief, and that's why we are more working on promoting our product in export market also. So at present we are sending our product to 7, 8 countries, and inshallah soon we are including more countries into Pakistan. Uh, up, uh, let's talk of the pharma, Pakistan pharma. The Pakistan pharma basically is, I won't say that high tech at that point in time. We are not manufacturing anti-cancer, we are
Yeah.
not manufacturing biological, we are not manufacturing pre-filled syringe, we are not manufacturing insulins, which is, 30% of Pakistani
Yes.
adult population is said to be diabetic. So these kind of things we are not manufacturing. We are not manufacturing patch, which are kind of thing that for a heart attack, you just
Yeah.
paste a patch on your chest, and no need to have a tablet or stuff like that. That patch work for 24 hours. So you are devoid of angina. So it's a formulation industry.
Yes.
I say, it's a formulation. But the fortunate part of this that we are providing medicine to more than 95% of the population, local manufactured product, and 5% product, which are, as I already said, that anti-cancer and biologicals and vaccines are being imported from other countries and marketed. They are 5% of the total pie of the cake. 95% product are being supplied by Pakistani companies
Yeah.
for all even dreadful disease like hepatitis and all kind of things, blood plasma products even manufactured in Pakistan. So Pakistani pharmaceutical journey is a very subtle kind of a journey because the reason being that the financial regulation of state bank are not very conducive for investment in Pakistan, where we can borrow because uh, they have a very different kind of prudential regulation uh, where we cannot have an aggressive borrowing to build up compliant plant in Pakistan. Very
So,
few companies in Pakistan have endeavored to build up compliant plant. Compliant means to come up to the expectation of European Union and
yeah.
FDA and TGA and Japanese company standards,
Yeah.
European standards and North American standard. Uh, Even there are few countries in Africa, South Africa, won't recognize our product. So we need to have a compliant, unless we have a very big money supported by State Bank through borrowing, long-term borrowing, as our neighboring country is providing to their manufacturer that kind of money. So they are building up a compliant plant now. More than 100 companies are compliant companies in India and even in Bangladesh. But unfortunately, in Pakistan, we don't have that kind of resource. So, but our product are quality product, no doubt to it. Despite the fact, which is very unique in the world, that 90%, 95% of the material being imported in Pakistan to make a product. We have only 3 to 4% or maybe 5% at the max manufacturing raw material in Pakistan. So 95% raw material, packaging material, vial, ampule, all kind of stuff being imported from around the world, from China, from India, from Europe, from Japan, and from many other countries. Uh, so we are still dependent on APIs and excipient
Yes.
and packaging material, but still providing quality product to the masses of the world.
Yeah.
Uh, from Pakistan, we are providing, exporting to 60 countries of the world. So that's mean our products are of a quality nature.
Yeah.
That's why they are accepted all over the world. But yes, the only lacuna remain, and that is a challenge for Pakistani entrepreneur to have maximum compliant plant so that we can venture
Yeah.
out into the West, Europe, and North America to provide our product. Unless there is a major support from banks, particularly State Bank has to come in for. to provide us that kind of liquidity to build up a plant. The problem in Pakistan that plots, land is very expensive, and
Yes.
to build up a plant and have an machinery which is a compliant machinery, and compliant machinery, majority of the compliant machinery coming from the Europe.
Yes.
India and China are working on manufacturing compliant machinery, but still, when it's come to the regulator coming from that part of the world, from north, uh, they would like to see machines which are European made or US made,
Yes.
quality equipment or manufacturing equipment. They will prefer, they'll appreciate that these machines are, because all the standards like validation, IQ, PQ are, are very well documented with those
Yes.
kind of machines. So they appreciate that. And, international regulator always uh, look at the documentation. They follow the documentation, they see the paper trail, and then they actually see the manufacturing facility.
Yeah, sure. That's very insightful. So, with the chaos of COVID-19 we have at the moment, I just wanted to dig on more on the structural aspect of this industry. So, sir, in your view, how COVID has impacted Pakistan pharmaceutical industry in terms of the challenges, and how these challenges can direct us into a new window of opportunity?
Uh, First of all, let me tell you, we are working under certain SOP, standard operating procedure, which are uh, time to time being provided by the various government like federal and provincial government. I'm talking about in the scenario of Pakistan.
Yeah.
So various countries have their own standard
Yes.
operating procedures. So fortunately, pharmaceutical industry is already following those standards. They wear masks, they have a gown, they have a washing area where every employee being asked to take bath before entering into the manufacturing facility. Then we have medical checkup, routine medical checkups. So we know sick person cannot enter into our facility. So
Yeah.
those standards are already there. Now coming back to the business side of, yes, we have faced a problem in March and even in April, while supply line was disturbing because of the international transport
Yes.
system, air transport, and various logistics were impacted because there were no air transport. So, but we were we were unable to source our material. But fortunately, we were having a few raw material in our warehouse because normally we have an inventory of 3 months in our warehouse. So the supply line, the finished product supply line, didn't impact it at all. Alhamdulillah, by the grace of Almighty, the medicine were available to all kind of patient. There was no shortage of medicine. There was no price variation,
Yeah.
and but uh, if international supply chain is not put into normal, then I see in couple of weeks we will have a problem.
Sure. So it's very interesting because I was talking to a few other industries as well, and there were stories all over the media about companies being halted and workers being laid off and whatnot. But this industry, pharmaceutical industry, is unique in a way that nothing of the sort happened. And from what you have told me, it looks like that there was already some proactive measures there. They had the safe practices there, and there was a resilience model in terms of the stocking, in terms of the supply chain. So that's a very good lesson to learn for the rest of the industries. My next question to you will be that how do you think will be the futuristic outlook of safe and resilient productivity models, and what can be the immediate steps that are crucial to require an evolution into a new normal?
See, you have put two different questions and they are pole apart.
Mm,
Uh, One is the related to the current situation
yeah.
that Pakistani pharmaceutical have to work on API sources, active pharmaceutical ingredient sourcing. and they have to arrange their own manufacturing for APIs in locally available APIs. That one part, and the other part is future. In 1985, I predicted that the pharmaceutical industries will move toward specific therapeutic areas,
Hmm.
and this has started happening. Large companies, Bristol Speed, GSK, Sanofi Aventis, they are moving to specific therapy, Eli Lilly, into specific therapeutic areas.
Yeah.
All kind of other stuff, they're dishing it off. Eli Lilly, which were known for antibiotics and regular insulins, have moved on to biologicals and anti-cancers and
Hmm.
very selective psychotropic drugs. Bristol Myers Squibb is only working on biological product and anti-cancers. Sanofi is working on insulin.
Sure.
So Pakistani companies have to work on advanced disease model now.
Yeah.
This generic will not give them the right kind of revenue unless we move into the disease specific, like biosimilars, biologicals,
Yeah.
vaccines,
Yeah.
kind of things. Uh, these generics, the run of the mill product, I would say, are not going to help them in a future when time comes, because I foresee, and all the expert in the healthcare see, that in couple of years, disease specific medicines will be talk of the town. General medicine for all kind of disease will vanish, and there will be only disease specific. With a 3D printing model, I see people will manufacture their own. They will have a prescription from the physician, and they
Yeah.
can build their disease specific medicine at their own home under a certain condition. So that model is going to be there, and large pharmaceutical companies uh, will already started working on disease specific criteria,
Yeah.
disease specific things. They have moved out of generic drugs, uh, because I worked for Eli Lilly, and at that time Eli Lilly was working on Caflex, Napsin, and
Hmm.
kind of thing, and now nobody talk of those products. They are talking of human insulin and other very specific drugs. Now the time has come for disease modulators, that companies are working on disease modulator, that they will have your DNA, and they will work on DNA and inform you what kind of you can
Yes.
anticipate disease, and they will
Yes.
modulate your DNA,
Yeah.
modify your DNA.
Yeah. And there are obviously lots of other models coming in as well around molecular biology. And we have seen a change in practice, especially in the Western world, when if someone needs antibiotic for a specific disease, then the specificity tests are done before giving the antibiotics. So there is an evolution going on. People are getting much and much more specific when it comes to treating the disease. So the second lesson or a message from you will be evolve as the future goes. So they need to adapt to the new ways of working. So my last question with you will be that it's going to be quite an intense topic because it will be very close to your heart as well. So as a pharmaceutical leader, in crisis preparedness, what can be their role and how they will deliver into an industry-wide remit?
See, prices of pharmaceutical is a very sensitive subject all over the world.
It's the
Even,
crisis, sorry, it's the crisis. I
oh
said
sorry,
crisis preparedness.
oh I'm so sorry. See, pharmaceutical industry in Pakistan, when we see in the Pakistani scenario, uh, our only concern is the
Yeah,
whether we are able to source APIs or not at time. When we need it, is it gonna available or not? As we know, that our neighboring country, India, is in lockdown condition and no flight is coming from there. So 45-50% of the material which used to come from India to
Yeah.
Pakistan is not available. So
Yes.
we are looking at China now and other European sources, which are going to be very expensive. So,
Expensive.
but
Yeah.
still, our challenge is to ensure availability of medicine to the masses. We
Hmm.
don't want that Pakistani public, Pakistani patient should suffer because of our lethargy or our slackness or our incompetence. We would like utmost try to make sure that products in need are available, freely available everywhere, every nook and corner. Pakistani medicine should be available so that patients do not suffer because this under stressful condition of COVID era, I call it an era because this is going to last many
It will.
years.
It will
Many
definitely.
last. So this is an
Definitely.
era we have to think differently. And
Yes.
yesterday model of thinking, practicing is not going to work in a
No.
COVID era.
Definitely.
I,
Definitely.
I should have wear a mask
Yeah.
because I'm preaching that we should work for COVID, and I'm not
Yes.
wearing mask.
Yes.
Let's wear it.
Uh, Sir, are you there? Just bear with me, participant. I think Dr. Kaiser has lost the connection. He'll be soon with us. So it was very interesting to see him talking about various aspects of pharmaceutical industry. So to what I have learned from him is actually pharmaceutical industry is very rapidly evolving, and they were already prepared because of the stringent regulatory practices they had with them, and obviously that has helped the pharmaceutical industry to promptly respond to the crisis situation, and they knew how to safe workplaces. So the thing is that, as Dr. Kasser has suggested, it's very important that this is a crucial window. It's a window for pharmaceutical industry to think differently and evolve into a world-class industry, create capacity. We don't have any lack of resources. We have a lack of support. So, Dr. Kasser, you are with us again. So, continue what you were talking about in terms of the leaders' role in saving this industry and taking it to the next level.
I think few companies have already started in Pakistan to become compliant industry, internationally compliant industry. They have tried, and uh, the area which we are lacking in is biological and biosimilars. Companies has to start this thing. The challenging part will be regulator has to become comprehend. They should understand how to manage, how to regulate biosimilar and biological companies or a biological market. Unfortunately, they need to understand that. Some other that part is at present is very not available, I would say. So unless the regulator understand how to regulate the biosimilars and the biological product, now biological have anti-cancers, vaccines, sera product, blood product, they're all kind of biologicals. So, but unfortunately, industry did not work toward that. Maybe we we need to have the international understanding how to go about by biologicals because biologicals are very sensitive, biosimilars are very sensitive product. We have to maintain and manage uh, biosimilarity, which is very difficult to do, but still in the international market, in the world. People are already doing it. Number one. Uh, our neighbor have started practicing buying in plant in the Europe and in the in North America. By that practice, they are acquiring technologies and bringing those technologies, right kind of human resource, back
Yeah.
home so
Yeah.
that they are developing. But unfortunately, in Pakistan, uh, since we don't have that kind of financial muscle, so that part is lacking. So the compliant part would be still be very difficult because we need a right kind of human resource who can guide us, who can tell us what kind of documentation, what kind of facility need to be done to become a compliant company.
Sure. So thank you very much. It was very insightful. So what I can see is that pharmaceutical industry have resources in terms of the capacity and the skill set. The things that we are lacking in the industry is basically the regulations, specific regulations, and financial support to develop the models which are much more going to be fit for purpose in the new world of pharmaceuticals. So I'm going to be unmuting all the participants now for any questions because we are left with 10 more minutes. Yes, participants, if you have any questions, you can directly ask him. He can hear you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Walaikum assalam.
This is Dr. Tariq Ali. Sir, my question is that what is the current situation of sales target? I heard from one of my colleagues that sales has been declined due to COVID situation in Pakistan, and pharmaceuticals are suffering to cope up with sales target and definitely the budget level. This is because many of the OPDs are closed here, and what will be the situation in coming months, and if the situation will be persistent, how you will cope up with it?
I intentionally avoid this subject intentionally because as I said, we are in COVID era. This is going to last for longer period of time. So companies has to evolve strategies, and they have started working on it, like online system. They are contacting with the doctor. Unfortunately, uh, doctor have to be more become rather than physician to become more receptive to the change. Still they are not accepting this change. They still think that physical contact of a patient is very important, but now devices are there to check and monitor patient condition, bp, blood pressure, heart rate, temperature, X-ray, chest X-ray, and in future MRI will be available through your smartphone. So you can on your camera and scan your own body, kind of thing, and doctor will get the image and he can diagnose and he can prescribe you medicine online. Now coming back the sales factor, because I'm associated with Pakistan Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Association, and as a group leader of pharmaceutical manufacturer, many companies have contacted me, and into acute phase of disease like pain and antibiotic, that part is 30% decrease. But chronic part, chronic management of disease, medicine used for chronic disease have not being impacted at all. There is no only acute phase medicine have declined because of this OPDs and clinic are closed.
Okay. We have another participant, Tanvir. He wants to ask a question.
I have another question if I can
Okay.
ask.
Okay, Tariq, yes, go on.
What hello?
I think there are other participants talking as well. Uh,
Should I
Tariq,
talk?
can we take some questions? What is your question, and then I'll go to the other participants as
Yes,
well.
yes, yes. My question is that what opportunities Pakistan pharma industry do have right this time? As I heard a news that yesterday Gilead have signed up an agreement with Hiroson's laboratories for manufacturing of remdesivir. So what
यार
opportunities might
डॉक्टर साहब
we see?
डॉक्टर साहब
Yes.
डॉक्टर साहब डॉक्टर साहब ये ड्रामा है रेमडेसिविर का, इसका कोई फायदा नहीं है.
Okay,
Very
okay,
soon,
Okay.
very
All
soon,
right. So,
everybody will come to know that.
okay. So
okay,
quickly,
okay.
we are just
Not going
going.
to help the patient.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
COVID patient
we
won't, COVID patient won't get benefit from this medicine.
okay. So now we are just going to take one more question. Then Toshiba. So who else wants to ask a question? I think we can't hear you, so you can text and I can send the questions to Dr. Kaiser and he will be able to respond to it. We are about to end our meeting because our time is finishing on Zoom. So thank you very much everyone for attending this session, and thank you Dr. Kaiser for your insights. It was always a pleasure to talk to you, and it was a very insightful and interesting updates we received from you. So thank you, and I'm ending the session now.
Thank you.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
And,